Please accept the recording. All right. All right, guys. So today's talk is really a lesson in quality improvement and patient safety. And I know this sounds like really boring, but I promise it won't be boring. And so the activity that we're going to do is called Think Quick. So Think Quick really stands for Quality Improvement Curriculum. And so I'm going to kind of introduce you to the concepts of quality improvement, and we're going to do an activity at the same time. So first, I'll just give you some disclosure. So I don't have anything to disclose. I don't have any financial relationship with Hasbro. This presentation might make you think that I do, but I do not. If anything, they made me spend money. So just FYI. And this talk was really kind of inspired by the really super smart people over at UMass and Dr. Christy Navarro, who is actually one of my colleagues and attendings for family medicine over at Kaiser Los Angeles, because she introduced to Natalia to the best toy in the whole wide world. And so the objectives for today is really to kind of participate in a simulation demonstrating kind of the core components of quality improvement, okay? Including practice-based learning and practice-based learning and improvement, which is actually an ACGME milestone that we all want to hit. Quality improvement concepts, which include the curriculum, and then how to use the PDSA model, which is the Plan, Do, Study, Act model. We're going to talk a little bit about patient safety and medical errors, as well as teamwork and kind of best practices to teamwork. And then what lean process management is. And if you guys recall, I came from Kaiser, which is a lean process management industry itself. And most importantly, is just communication amongst medical staff and trying to enjoy the process of communication. So the fun begins. So take this situation into mind. So there's a critical situation that's happened. A major event took place here in Los Angeles where there was a terrible car accident. Multiple buses have collided, each carrying multiple patients that are part of families. EMS arrives at the scene only to find scattered body parts and thready pulses on everyone that's involved in the accident. Fortunately, we have amazing electronic medical records, and so we have pictures to identify each and every member. So we're going to do a game. Okay, so the game is you're going to be part of the medical team that's going to be taking care of these accident victims in the emergency department. And the goal is to assemble each member of the family in 6 minutes or less. And then each member should be inspected at the completion of the exercise. Okay, and we're doing this simulated, so it's going to be a little bit different. But basically, the team should be made up, and I will participate in the team, is made up of an implant specialist. So the person that's going to put together the bodies. There's going to be a re-implant specialist, which is the only person that can kind of divide up the parts and decide which part goes where. And this will make more sense in just a second. And then we'll have a utilization manager, and that person is the one that negotiates any community resources or simply just negotiates how to utilize the resources that we currently have. Generally, we would have a quality inspector, and like you have seen many times, I'm sure, so far in your career, sometimes we play multiple roles, right? We have several different hats. So in this case, one of you may have more than one hat. So the quality inspector is the person that confirms that we have all the pieces, that we have all of the processes in place to help put together these members. And then anybody else can assist in the various roles that the team decides on. So the important tools to really think about here as we're working lean is the model, the Plan, Do, Study, Act. So we need to think about what we're going to do. We need to take action, and then we need to go back and review what we did and take action again on this. Because over time, even the potato heads have slimmed down, right? So if we think about Mr. Potato Head in the earlier versions of him in the 1950s, he looked very different than the way he looks today. And there's a diverse group of potato heads now. So before we just had Mr. Potato Head, kind of the dude, and now we have Mrs. Potato Head, we have Queen Potato Head, we have Policeman Potato Head, we have Supermodel Potato Head, we have all sorts of potato heads. So in round one, we're gonna take a bag and we're gonna assemble one of the members of the family. Okay, and we're gonna do this together. So it's gonna be a little funny, but we're gonna do this together. And we're gonna put a timer for 6 minutes to make sure that we are compliant with our rules. And our rules for this round is gonna be 6 minutes. So I'm gonna get my timer here and set it up so that we have the time that we need. And I am gonna show you what the content of bags look like, okay? Once we show you what the contents of the bag looks like, I'll show you what the family member looks like. And then amongst yourself, someone needs to help decide or coordinate what role each person is going to have. Since I have the body parts behind me, I need you guys to give me instructions on what to look for and be as descriptive as you can, because I have about 150 body parts behind me and I'm a third-year medical student, okay? I'm the third-year medical student that's helping you, that is fresh on rotations, but I can identify body parts, but I need your help. This is what our patient looks like. All right, so keep that in mind, and I'll have a picture available for you. This is what he looks like. These are the body parts, and I'm gonna set the timer, and it starts. Unmute yourself so that way we can hear each other. All right, so I'm gonna hit the timer and tell me what to look for.
Blue muscular arms. I guess turquoise muscular arms.
All right, I'm looking. What else should I do?
Also looking for some brown work boots.
Brown work boots, okay. I think that's yellow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Similar looking, but blue or teal.
Or blue, okay. All right. Okay, what else do I need?
And then like Sherilyn said, the boots are, it's like a one pair of like brownish work boots. It's all one color.
All one color. I think this is it. One piece.
Yep.
Okay.
that's really great.
Boots, arms. What else do we need?
So we need a round, like kind of oval looking red nose.
Which one?
The darker one.
Got it. Okay.
And then a similar colored mustache. It's like a long, kind of like spaghetti looking mustache that curls on either end.
Okay. Who's the implant? Who's telling me where to put it?
Oh.
Should we collect
gonna
all the
put-
pieces first and then it's up to you
Okay.
guys?
Yeah.
And then like a little pink tongue, as if it'd be like sticking out.
Got it.
That's right.
and
And,
then-
a yellow hat. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. There's only one person.
Oh, yellow looking construction hat.
No, that's
it's
hair.
it's more of a construction hat with like rivets on the top. That's it. And then 2 pink ears. They look kind of like mouse ears.
Is there earrings on it?
No earrings.
Is it shiny or smooth?
Looks pretty smooth. Can you show us what the 2 different like smooth versus shiny look like? Yeah, that looks like them. And then the eyeballs are the first ones that you showed us. And then 2 like white eyeballs, and they've got like kind of curved, the eyes are like just little curved black lines.
Does it have eyelashes?
No eyelashes.
No eyelashes. Okay.
And then is it like one standard body, or the body is just like a pretty standard looking potato?
There's like 10 different body parts.
Okay.
So
So it's I'm assuming they're different sizes. So it's just like your like kind of like orangish potato that is larger on the bottom than on the top. Yeah.
Okay, I got a body.
All right. Now he wants to do implant location.
Okay, tell me where it goes.
I can do
All
that.
right.
Oh, go ahead, Cheryl.
So you're gonna put the boots on the bottom of the bodies on the widest part. Yes, those ones. And then the
Got it.
next thing up is going to be the tongue.
Okay, tongue.
Tongue is in, then the mustache right above the tongue,
Okay,
and then the nose right above that.
okay.
And then the eyes, the two eyes right next to each other
All right, okay.
above the
Okay, got it.
nose. And then on the same level as the eyes, you're gonna put an ear on each side,
Here on each side, got it.
and then a hat above that. And then you're gonna put each, so one of the arms on one side and the other arm on the other side.
Okay. All right,
What's it look like?
that's what I got. And the eyes, here. And he looks like that, sorry. I thought I took the picture. Yeah, it looks like that. All right.
I approve of that, what it looks like. Don't we need a place to say that?
This is what it looks like, yes. I think I found the wrong eyes though.
Oops.
I didn't put them on though, then I found the right one.
I
right,
see him
see-
in the picture. I can see the eyes in the picture.
Yes. All right, so you had 50 seconds to spare. All right, that's pretty good. But it was one potato head. Normally this workshop is done with 12 potato heads. But we're doing it virtually, so it's a little different, right? So let's take a few minutes to kind of discuss how we can improve that process, right? So you couldn't see everything that was happening. And sometimes that happens, right? There's things happening in the background and we're not able to see what that process actually looks like. So in this particular case, I was assembling based on the instructions that I was being given, right? But you weren't able to see some of the things that I was doing and what I was sorting through, right? So how do you think that we can improve this process?
Think I mean, on a Zoom, from a Zoom perspective or in person?
Just in general. Think globally.
I think fortunately, it sounded like you got all the right pieces, but I think that like a lot of like feedback or what do they call it? Like closed system communication. So like, this is what the piece looks like, and then confirming that that's what you have before we move on to the next thing, because obviously we can't see what you have. You're saying like, all right, I got it, but I think that is probably a good communication style for something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, because yeah, you're kind of blinded, right? You're not able to see what's actually happening. And when we think about the health system, there's things that happen in the health system that we don't actually see. We just know it happens, but we don't know how it happens, right? And being able to experience it and kind of go through the process makes us more mindful and aware of what's happening in the background, even if we can't see it. So yeah, absolutely. Anything else that you would do to improve this process?
I think maybe we should have divvied up roles before we started. And I think, kind of jumped into those, but I think it would have just cut down any, it would have made us more efficient and then helped to clarify what everyone was doing.
Exactly. So oftentimes when we jump into projects, one of the things that it's important to do is to clarify what the role of each individual is, right? And what the expectation of each of those roles is. And even though sometimes we might share multiple hats and wear multiple hats, depending on what we've been tasked with, as long as we understand what our role is at that given time, it'll make a process more efficient. And I wasn't trying to coach you guys on this round, and I wasn't trying to lead you to not do that. So we're gonna try it again, and let's see what we can do different, right? Let me go over here. So now we're gonna switch our tools around. We're gonna switch our items around because every patient is unique, right? No patient is the same. And so now we're gonna have a new patient, and we're gonna try this one more time, and we'll give ourselves another 6 minutes for this again. And let me go to it. So this is our patient this time. So it's the same bag of stuff. I have all of the things here, and I will hit the timer, and then we'll try this all over again and see how we do this time and what we do differently. Let me just throw this back over in the pile. All right.
Do you mind showing the list of the different roles again before we start?
Yeah.
Thanks.
So the implant specialist, so it's the only member that can attach. In this case, I kind of have to do that role because I've got it here. The re-implant is the one that delivers the part. So it's the person that sorts out and says like, okay, we need X, Y, and Z. The utilization manager, it may be the one that negotiates. In this case, it's maybe the one that says, oh, it's not the yellow arms, but it's the green arms, or maybe they should be more curvy arms. Okay. And then the inspector would be the person that checks to make sure that we have all the right parts, and is checking for safety and any errors, and then various roles after that. All right. Should I go back to the picture? I'll go back to the picture. All right. Should I set the timer? Okay. Time.
So essentially, we have a couple of roles that we'll need to fill right that we can kind of organize right now in a couple seconds.
Yeah.
The quality inspector, and then maybe somebody or one or two people who are saying what to get and then confirming that that's the correct body part.
Yeah, I can be timekeeper for this one since I did the whatever last time. Sherilyn, do you want to describe the parts? And then Lauren, do you want to kind of tell where they go?
Perfect.
All right, Dr. Vasquez, if we could find some blue sneaker appearing shoes that have hard to see. We're also looking for a similar sticking out pink tongue. Let's see here. Those look correct. Yes.
Is the tongue pierced?
No, it's not pierced.
Okay. Just checking.
That looks right. Yes. Then a mustache, which is brown and kind of mop appearing. Thick, light brown.
These are your choices.
I think it's on the right. So sorry, my left, your right. Then a oval red nose. That looks correct. A pair of black glasses.
We're about 2 minutes in, so just so you guys know.
Those look correct. Yes. Some wide open eyes with full or with round. Yep. And eyes. Do they have a little white thing on the top? A little white in the black of the eye.
Oh, yes.
Yes, perfect. And then yes, a green cap that looked correct. 2 pink ears. Oval looks like matte. I think, are they both the same? Hard to tell on Zoom.
No, I just realized one has an earring.
No earrings. And then the last thing we're looking for are 2 arms. They're white arms. One of them on the right is kind of curled toward be curled toward that looks correct. And then one other one. Yes, I think so. Okay,
Okay. All right.
I think we have all that here.
All
We're
right.
about halfway through. We got 3 minutes.
Okay, ready to assemble?
Yes.
And then, oh, do we need the potato head?
Yes. Got it.
So the whiter part of the potato head has, will be the bottom and has the blue shoes attached.
All right.
Next up from that is the pink sticking out tongue, followed
Okay.
by the mustache above that, and then the nose above the mustache.
Okay.
At the same level as the nose, there's the two arms, and the right arm is the one that's curling in like this, like it's giving a hug. And then the left hand is the one with the thumbs that's straight out like this.
Fully pronated.
Yeah, pronated hand. And then, so moving up centrally, the eyes are right there, or the eyes are the next one up, covered by the glasses. Yes. The two ears are flanking the same size or the same level as the eyes, and then the green hat on top.
An extra ear.
The 2 ears.
All right.
Can you see it? And everyone,
You got the picture. Let's see. Whoops. All right. I've got the picture here. It's exactly like the picture. We got everything on there.
Nice.
All right. How are we on time? All right. We had a minute plus.
Yeah.
Good. So how is this assembly accomplished compared to the other one?
I think it just was a little bit more organized. It wasn't kind of like talking over each other, like figuring out one person per body part or anything like that. So I just thought that it was much more smooth.
Yeah. What else did you guys notice was different?
closed loop communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else?
I think we each had a better understanding of kind of what our role was.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. And everyone followed their role and still worked as a team, right? So you guys were working with each other, not independently of each other. And that's part of quality improvement, right? It's system based, not individual based. So that made this process a little bit easier. There was less confusion. People knew what their roles were and helped each other out understand those roles too. And in this case, were there any errors that were made? I mean, there was no sentinel event, so that's great. Any errors that were made or things that could have been changed?
I think one thing that I could have asked, is it easier for you to look at one thing at a time versus giving you a couple of different things as you're looking at the pile and then picking out and those to make us a little bit more efficient?
Yeah, absolutely. So sometimes when I do this workshop, we have multiple potato heads. And so the role of one of the team members may be to sort out all the arms because there's like 50 arms behind me. I was very lucky that the first arm I pulled out was the pronated hand. I wasn't so lucky with the tongue because the first tongue I pulled out was pierced. So I got a little thrown off by that one. I don't know why my daughter pierced it. She put like a sticky gem on it. So that may be a role, right? The person that kind of sorts out like the mess, right? Because that's an important role too, right? Sometimes you walk into something and it's just a hot mess and you need someone to maybe help organize that a little bit, or at least in this particular case, because maybe me organizing it and finding the parts is a lot for that one, third year medical student. Remember, I'm the third year medical student, but maybe one of the team members may be the one that says, what, let's pull out all of the arms really quick and then go that way. And there's no right or wrong in this, but there's lots of different ways that we can improve our process. So very good. And is there any ways that we could change the process to eliminate any wasted time? In this case, right, time is kind of our commodity. We wanted to make sure that we finished in the 6 minutes assembling one potato head in this particular case. What are some ways that maybe we could have saved a little bit of time?
I don't know if it was supposed to be part of the time allotted, but kind of organizing the roles if there's time beforehand before you get to the catastrophe that you can organize roles, then we don't have to take that 20 seconds to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it depends on the circumstance, right? In some cases, like if you really are an emergency department, you have a code team, right? You have a team that's already assembled. You have a team that is the trauma team that already takes the traumas, and the rules already are predefined. And so in circumstances where we can organize those roles ahead of time, and speaking to sports medicine kind of emergency action plan, that's part of what we do, right? We assemble the roles of each individual so that we are prepared. And in this particular case, because you didn't know what was coming, you didn't know I was going to give you potato heads with pierced tongues. There's no way you would have been able to prepare. You guys naturally fell into preparing yourselves on round 2 because you had experienced what it was like to not be prepared. So absolutely. All right, let's see. And so what happens when there's a new sheriff in town, right? What happens when we all switch roles? And that happens all the time in medical centers, right? We have a new chief, we have a new chair of the department right now, which is very different from maybe the chair that was there previously, right? And so what happens if your person that is sorting out and describing the pieces no longer wants to do their job, or they get moved away, right? So we're gonna do one more round. And this round, I want you guys to switch roles, okay? So the roles that you were in the second round, you're not gonna be in that role, so find a new role for yourselves, and we will switch it. This is our patient. I'm just gonna give you a heads up of Queen Potato Head, what she looks like. And I'm gonna throw this back into the file behind me. All right. And I'm gonna set the timer for another 6 minutes. I won't start it yet until you tell me you are ready to roll.
Ready to roll? Do we just
Ready to
want
roll.
shift to what we haven't done yet? So Lauren, do you want to describe the pieces? I can describe how to put them on, and Sherilyn, you can keep an eye on the clock.
Sounds good.
All right.
Okay, ready to start?
Ready.
Over at the top, can we get a queen crown?
A queen crown.
And then do you prefer multiple items to look for or just one? Perfect. Can I get eyeballs that are wide open and have purple eyelashes?
Purple eyelashes. Okay. Oh. That blue.
Anything else you'd like to look for at the same time?
Are they angry? Angry lashes?
No, they are. She looks happy.
Okay. Oh, got it. These are hard to find.
If you'd like to look for a mint green purse at the same time.
Oh, I found the purse.
Okay, perfect. And then a red shiny nose. Oh yes, those are perfect eyes. So red shiny nose.
Red shiny nose.
And a red mouth that's in a closed-lipped smile.
Is it puckered lips or flat lips?
Not exactly puckered.
No.
No. I can't tell. Can you guys tell? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Is there another one that looks kind of like that?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking for two, yes,
Yeah.
perfect. Two shiny ears that are pink. And
Okay,
then,
earrings?
no,
Earrings.
it looks like maybe actually there are earrings on that one. Yes, so two earrings, and then we'll be looking for white arms and white shoes, white tennis shoes.
Tennis shoes.
Perfect. And then the white arms, the left, so there's one that curls around and the other one is prone. It's the same arms as the last patient. Yeah, those look correct.
So I think those might be incorrect. 'Cause I think there's like skin colored on the closer to the potato head.
Oh, they're skin colored?
Is that shadow or is I can't
Oh,
tell.
it's the
Shadows.
shadow. That's the
Oh, it's
shadow.
the
Yeah, they're
shadows.
white. Yeah.
All right, we're about just over 2 minutes in.
Okay.
Okay.
I think, Brian, do you feel like we have, and Sherilyn, do you feel like we
Oh,
have?
yeah.
a point? Okay.
And we've got a body.
We got a body.
potato.
Got a
All
potato.
right, so we're gonna start the wider part of the potato will be the bottom, and we'll attach the white shoes to the bottom.
Okay, white shoes.
Just above that will be the red lips in like a smiling orientation. Just above that will be the round red nose. And at that same level, we'll have the two arms. The right arm will be the one that is pronated, and the left arm will be the one that curves around a little bit. Yeah, with the purse in hand. And then going back to the middle, just above the nose, did I say the eyes just go just above the nose?
Got it.
At that same level will be the two ears with the small little earrings. And then
Okay.
finish it off with the queen's crown on top.
With the queen's crown. Okay. All right.
Should be everything.
We got a queen that looks exactly like this. So that's perfect.
Oh, there we go.
Nice job.
Yay. And we had 2 minutes.
Hey,
2 minutes. All right. Very good. So how did you guys do this time? What do you think?
I think it was good. I think that Lauren did a good job of incorporating, like when you were having trouble finding some of the pieces to like those really obvious, like big green purse, just those things that I think saved a little bit of time given that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that she had me multitask. Like, can you find this at the same time? Yes, I can. Very good. And you know, that's also an important part of working in a team, right? We push each other to be better. And that's what she did. She was pushing me to like, in a good way, she was pushing me to be better, to allow myself to multitask and not be so kind of tunnel vision and only look for one thing, right? So she had me like say like, hey, if you see a purse also, if you see this also, as you're perusing through 150 body parts. So yeah, so that's great. That's actually a really good thing to incorporate into the quality improvement. And as we can see in this one, we got better each time, right? We had more time to spend each time. And our process got a lot more streamlined as we did it a third time. How did you feel changing roles? So now you had kind of not really defined roles in round one. In round two, you had defined roles, but in round three, you had new roles. So how was having a new role different for you?
I think that it was okay again because of the exposure that we had. Like we were all very involved in all three trials. And so I think it gave us a good opportunity to see what each role entailed so that it wasn't just like starting from scratch every time.
Yeah, and just my observation was that you naturally fell into changing of roles. And I think that kind of speaks to your experience as residents and now fellows, that you have to change your role quite often. And you know, yesterday Lauren was at the talk for the medical students, and she was talking about how every day of fellowship is different. So every day your role is different. And so I think for you guys, you naturally kind of fell into being able to change your role from one thing to another very easily. And that is wonderful, because not everybody can do that. So kudos to you guys for being able to transition very easily and naturally into a different role than the one you initially were intended to do in round 2. So good job. How do you feel the system changed this 3rd round? So we had a different patient from the first 2. We had different roles, and we had a slightly different process than we initially had in round 1.
I agree. Like I mentioned, I think the introduction of multitasking was important. I mean, we ended with 2 minutes to spare, and I think a part of that was we eliminated some of the waste of, all right, let's get this one item, put it down, next item, put it down, and actually being able to kind of skip some of those steps was very effective.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's something that Sherilyn had noticed after the last round that she had brought up. So it was something that we kind of did a little mini PDSA cycle on.
Exactly. Yeah, very good. And I like also that, at the very end, when we thought that maybe the arms were a different color, that we stopped, right? We actually stopped to confirm, right? And that's one of the things, one of the reasons why in surgery we have a pause, right? Because we want to avoid a sentinel event. So if we're not 100% sure, so there's an acronym called CUS. So you want to CUS because you want to bring to attention what's going on so that we can correct whatever is causing concern, right? So that's what the acronym is for. It's if you have a concern, you want to speak up and you want to pause so that we make sure that we don't attach the wrong arm to the wrong patient. So, very good. So I just want to take a moment to just distinguish between quality assurance and quality improvement, because they're different. So quality assurance is more of an individual focus. And I think when we started, we were kind of focused a little bit on quality assurance, not on purpose, but that's just naturally how it fell into. So it was a little bit more individual focus. Everyone was trying to find their role, but then with quality improvement, it's really about the system. It's about the process that we're doing and how we can improve that. Usually with quality assurance, there's this kind of myth that things need to be perfect, that it has to be really, really good. But in quality improvement, we recognize that the systems are not perfect, that there are errors sometimes that happen, and we want to strive to improve that. With quality assurance, it's mostly kind of a solo thing. You're trying to make improvements on an individual basis, whereas in quality improvement, it really requires team effort. Everybody has a role and everyone has a place in making the system better. With quality assurance, we don't really look at peer review, but in quality improvement, peer review is key. That's how we learn from each other, because people in our own discipline are giving us feedback of how maybe we can improve the process and how we can improve the system at large. In quality assurance, if someone makes an error, that has a negative connotation, and sometimes it has punishment that goes with that. Whereas in quality improvement, when we have an error, that's an opportunity to learn and to change things that maybe are not working for our system or that could potentially cause harm too. It's not really meant to be punitive, but for us to learn from those errors so that moving forward, we don't make those errors and that we're able to take care of our patients in a way that is better for them. So I just want to give you just a moment to think of something that you learned with this exercise. And I know this was a little bit different than what I would have done in person, but nonetheless, I just want you to kind of share one thing that you learned in this project today. And I'll start with Brian.
So I think just not that I learned, but the value of communication. I mean, obviously the communication was not just between whoever was communicating with you to grab pieces and do everything, but the communication amongst each other and the team members. Because obviously that was how we decided what worked, what didn't work, what we might want to try, like going forward, assigning, team or individual responsibilities, all that kind of stuff.
Great. Sherilyn.
I think one other thing that I identified kind of during this was actually something in terms of that like leadership and like working as a team, right? Because I think one of our first, we kind of were more trying to figure out, like trying to decide amongst ourselves who was going to do what, and that took us more time, which is appropriate when there may be more time available. But when you've got something where the situation, you're trying to be as efficient as possible and do something under more of a time crunch, sometimes assigning those roles works better.
Yeah, great. And Lauren?
I think one big thing I took away other than those two was that a little change can make a big difference. Like we made tiny adjustments every single time it felt like, but the amount of time it took us, not like that.
Absolutely. So remember, on round 1, you had about 50 seconds to spare. On the second round, you had over a minute. And by the third round, you had over 2 minutes, just a little bit over 2 minutes to spare. So basically, you doubled the amount of time by the third round, right? That you saved. So that's very great observation. And so I just want you to think about how this tool of plan, do, study, act can be applied in other scenarios. So other things that maybe are occurring in your practice, in clinic, in your care of athletes in the training room, and how you can apply the basic principles of the potato heads, but also of the plan, do, study, act, right? So think about different areas that maybe are a problem, whether it be management of medications in the training room, or management of the schedules in training room, or even just clinic efficiency, right? These are all areas that we can have an impact on the system. And as Lauren pointed out, even really tiny little changes can really significantly improve the outcome as well as the value that is being gained by that. Very good. So remember that quality is influenced by your system, and how much waste is in your system has an effect on the overall end product. Good communication, definitely key. We saw that how communication, as it improved and it got better, it improved our system. Efficiency is always enhanced when we eliminate waste. So anything that is not worth spending time on, when we eliminate it, it's going to make the process much more efficient. And that's one of the things that we saw in the 3 rounds of this. As we eliminated processes and things that maybe weren't so efficient, we were able to kind of eliminate wasting some time. And always remember that everyone that contributes in the team can have good ideas that can be helpful. So you want to be open to those ideas that get sent out, and have a yes and attitude instead of a but attitude, right? So a yes and will help improve your communication with your team, and it allows everyone to bring in their ideas. If we start using but this, or what if, or however, then we start kind of blocking that out, and we kind of put blinders on ourselves, and we're not as open to change and to improve. Every step that we do should add value. And that's one of the things that we have to think about, when we propose something, how is that proposal going to add value to your system? Because even those really tiny changes are going to make significant contributions. So I think QI can be super fun for all ages, and I hope you guys had a little tiny bit of fun today. So live, love, laugh, and dance. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. I promise we will do this in person at some point, and it will be super fun, and you will show all those attendings how awesome you are when you do this activity with them.
Thank you.
Thanks so
You're
much.
welcome.
Thanks, Dr. Vasquez.
You're welcome. And I think we're all heading off, so we have a few minutes. So yeah. All right, guys. What'd you think?
It was fun.
Good stuff?
Yeah, it's really fun.
All right, awesome.
Better,
All right,
way
yeah.
better than Dr. V. Hill's talk this morning. So.
Okay. Like I said, so I actually did this workshop this weekend at a conference that I went to with medical students, and it was super fun. And I have one quick little disclosure for you guys. I didn't have the bodies.
I
had the
I was
pictures,
wondering why you
though.
weren't showing us the finished product.
Yeah. So they're supposed to mail them back to me, and I haven't got them.
You just have all the body parts?
I have a bunch of spare body parts. So I'll show you guys that. This is my spare body parts. So I really was sorting through all of the body parts. I did have all of them, but the actual bodies, so I have maybe like 50 different pictures of potato heads. And so, because I did this workshop with 100 people before. So I did this with basically all of the residents and their families at Kaiser Sunset, plus all the faculty. And so we did groups of 12. And so each table had about 12 to 15 I have a lot of potato heads, a lot of them. And so what happened after that workshop is I ended up donating some of those potato heads because I found that I can do this workshop with just 12 potato heads. And so the workshop I did tables of 3 potato heads. So it was 4 tables of 3. And so we had 4 members in each table. And so I took different pictures for those, and I took the body parts that corresponded to those pictures, but I had all the body parts that corresponded to the potato heads that you guys just used. That's why I didn't show you the bodies, actually. I was only showing you the parts, and then I was flipping through the pictures to make sure I got it. Sorry to be tricky. But all right, guys, I'll let you guys break. You have a few minutes. You guys don't have 10 a.m. I have 10 a.m. though.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. We'll see you at 11
See you
though.
at
All right, see you at 11. Bye, guys.
11.
Bye.